This week, 3 different clients called me with the same question. One works at Apple, one works at Google, and one just got hired at NVIDIA. All 3 asked me the same thing. Sanna, where can I buy a home that's 15 minutes commute to work? 3 different campuses, 3 very different answers. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you the one zip code in Silicon Valley where the answer is all 3 at once. The place where you can buy even if you don't know which one of these companies you'll be working in 3 years. If you work at Apple, Google, or NVIDIA, or buying a house anywhere in South Bay or on the peninsula in 2026, this is the only commute video you need to see. I'm going to give you the neighborhoods, the real numbers, the trade-offs nobody else will say out loud, and a couple of principles that will protect you from the most common mistake buyers make in this market. I'm Sanna, a local realtor serving Alameda, Santa Clara, San Mateo, and San Francisco counties. Before real estate, I spent years as a tech lead and a PMP-certified project manager. So when I look at homes, I don't just see the square footage and the finishes. I see systems, inputs, constraints, trade-offs. I think about the data that should be driving a decision, and I notice when the number everyone is quoting is the wrong number. That last part is going to come up more than once today, and it's worth real money to you. That's why I work well with tech buyers. You think about this way, I do, as a structured problem with constraints to solve, not a feeling-based pitch about loving the home. So let's solve it. First, a reality check on why this question even matters again. Apple, Google, and NVIDIA all expect employees in the office at least 3 days a week in 2026. Apple is Tuesdays, Thursdays, and a team-determined third day. Google is 3 days with leadership pushing more. NVIDIA is generally along the same lines. So, your commute matters about 60% of your work week. Not 100%, but not 0. And on the days you do drive in, 15 minutes versus 30 minutes is the difference between dinner with your family and walking in after the kids are asleep. This is what I call RTO Compression. Return to office policies are quietly pulling buyers back into the tighter radius. 5 years ago, people were looking at Tracy, Mountain House because remote work made distance free. In 2026, those same buyers are asking the question their parents asked: how close can I actually get? So, 15 minutes is the right question for many in 2026. But here's where most buyers get it wrong. And it's the first principle I want you to take from this video. When you search homes by 15-minute drive on Zillow or Redfin, the algorithm is lying to you. It calculates 15 minutes on an empty road, not a Wednesday at 8:45 in the morning. A 6-mile drive on paper becomes 45 minutes in real commute. So, here's the principle number 1. Surface street optionality. For a 15-minute commute to actually hold up, you want a neighborhood where you can reach the campus on local roads, not the freeway. If your single route is 280 or 101 or 237, you are at the mercy of traffic you cannot predict. As I go through neighborhoods today, I'll tell you honestly which ones give you the non-freeway option and which ones are freeway plays. Now, the elephant in the room. If you want to live within 15 minutes of these big tech companies, you are going to have to pay a premium. There is no Bay Area cheat code for a short commute to some of the most valuable companies on earth. The only real question is how much premium and what you trade for it. Home type, schools, neighborhood. Here's the honest 2026 math, and I'm doing this by home type because that's where most online price graphics quietly cheat. For condos and townhomes, roughly $800 to $1.5 million. This is your genuine entry compass near the campuses. Range depends entirely on the pocket. For entry-level single family, it's about 2 to 2.5 million. These are older, smaller homes, the more affordable edges, parts of West San Jose. For a mid-single family, we are looking at 2.5 to 3, a competitive home in a desirable area. This is where most single-family buyers land. For premium single family, about 3.5 and above. In Cupertino, top mountain view packets, top schools. For luxury, we are talking 4-ish, 4.5-ish, 5-ish. These are Palo Alto, Los Altos, Saratoga, Cupertino, premium. Notice there is no single family tier under 2 million, and that is not an accident. Inside a true 15-minute radius of these campuses, a single family home, like an entry-level small home that needs work, is at a 2. Anyone showing you 1.5 million entry-level house here is showing you a tear down or a 3-roll number. The honest entry under 2 million is a condo or a townhome, and those are real. We'll cover them in every pocket. Let's get specific. Campus by campus. Apple Park. Apple Park sits where 280 meets De Anza on the Cupertino-Sunnyvale border. The obvious answer is Cupertino itself, 5 minutes from campus, top-ranked Cupertino Union School District, an established Indian and Asian community. Everything you would want. And a price to match. In 2026, the typical Cupertino home value sits around $3.2 million, and a single family home, what actually most of you are buying, is closer to 3.4 to 3.6 million based on recent sales. Honestly, that's out of reach for a lot of first-time buyers, even tech first-time buyers. So here's the move most Apple employees don't make. But you have to read the number correctly or it'll fool you. Let's talk about South Sunnyvale, zip code 94087. Look up Sunnyvale median and you'll see about $1.8 million and you'll think you just found $1 million discount versus Cupertino. You didn't. That 1.8 million is citywide. It folds in condos, townhomes, and North Sunnyvale. The pocket you actually want, 94087, is its own market. A single family home there runs at 2.5 million or up. Plenty of them into the 3s. So you're still saving versus Cupertino. Call it a $500K to $700K on a comparable home. Not $1 million, but real money. And here's the real reason to do it. The Cupertino Union School District crosses paths into 94807. Same top-tier school, Sunnyvale address at a lower price. You verified the boundary for specific home. It doesn't cover all of 94087. But when it lines up, it's one of the sharpest values near Apple Park. And 94087 gives you genuine surface street access to the campus. The contrarian play is West San Jose, the 95129 zip. Neighborhoods like Rainbow and Country Club reached via Lawrence Expressway, 10 to 15 minutes to Apple Park in light traffic. Single-family homes here run $2 to $2.5 million. And the part most buyers don't know, certain streets in 95129 feed the Fremont Union High School District, Lynbrook and Cupertino High. Same award-winning high school, San Jose mailing address, often 150 to 200K less for an equivalent home. So this is applicable only for certain streets in 95129. Verify the address. One more pocket most buyers miss is Birdland in Sunnyvale, small established neighborhood just north of Apple Park where the streets are all named after birds: cuckoo, nightingale, peacock. The reason I send buyers here is the route. From Birdland, you reach Apple Park on the surface street up Wolf Road. You're not handing your morning to the freeway. It is small enough that the citywide and even zip level medians don't describe it. So I price it the only honest way on the actual block of recent comps. That's a conversation, not a graphic. If your budget reaches luxury, Saratoga, Hedges, and Los Altos are within 15 minutes of Apple Park, but you are past $4 million quickly. Condos and townhome buyers near Apple Park, this is your genuine entry under 2 million. And it's a real strategy, not a consolation prize. I won't flash a single condo median for these zips. And here's the system's reason why. The attached home pool is thin and it mixes 600 square feet, 1 bedroom with 3 bedroom townhomes that cost double. Average those together and you get a number that describes no home you'd actually buy. So we price the building, not the city. Tell me the complex, I'll run its real comps. Same school district trade-offs apply. Okay, switching to Google. Google's main campus, Charleston and Amphitheater, sits in North Mountain View against the bay. And here's where I'll frame the geography the way an engineer would. The campus is pinned against the water, and thousands of commuters funnel down essentially two surface arteries every morning: Shoreline Boulevard and Rengstorff Avenue. In system terms, that's a commute with almost no redundancy. It's not a single point of failure, it's two, but two isn't much better. If either backs up, there is no real failover. So, if you live south of El Camino Real, crossing that corridor at peak can add 15 minutes before you even reach a freeway. When I say 15 minutes from Google, I mean ideally north of El Camino, west of Highway 85, where you are not dependent on that corridor. The obvious answer is Mountain View itself: Old Mountain View, Cuesta Park, Rex Manor. North of El Camino and west of 85, you can take lateral cuts like Middlefield or bike the Stevens Creek Trail. Some blocks are walkable to campus. Typical Mountain View value runs 1.8 to 2.1 million, with most desirable pockets like 94041 pushing towards 2.3 million. One honest caveat: Mountain View has very low monthly sales volume, so median swings month to month. Look at a 3 to 6 months range and your specific pocket, not 1 month. If top-tier schools are non-negotiable, Palo Alto, south of San Antonio Road, puts you within 15 minutes in the Palo Alto Unified District. The reality: typical value above 3 million, median sales are close to 3.5. The contrarian Google play is North Los Altos. 10 to 12 minutes from Google, smaller, older homes, but they hold value. Prices start at around 3.9 million and climb. But it is one of the most stable resale markets in the Bay Area. And here's the move that surprises most Googlers. And it's the mirror image of Sunnyvale lesson from the Apple section. Sunnyvale's 94089 zip, north of El Camino, same city as 94087, different zip entirely. Look it up and you'll see an all-in median around 1.3 to 1.4 million. Lower than Mountain View, and you'll think you found a steal. Read it carefully. 9409 is condo, townhome, even mobile home heavy. So all-in number runs below citywide figure, meaning a single family home that runs higher than 1.3 million. You're also out of Cupertino district here. But for genuine Google proximity, the all-in entry really is lower than Mountain View. One honest note that fits this whole video: from 94089, your main route to campus leans on 101. You are trading little surface street optionality for the price. So here's the principal number 2. Write this one down. Zip codes median lie in both directions. A school-rich pocket like 94087 runs above its city, so the citywide number undersells it. A condo-heavy pocket like 94089 runs below its city, so all types of number oversell the deal on a house. The fix is always the same. Compare the same home type, single family to single family in the same pocket and condo to condo in the same zip. The moment someone quotes you a city median to sell you on a single family home, you already know more than they do. One more Google note: if you commute to Google's San Francisco office instead of Mountain View, it's a different conversation. Caltrain access from Sunnyvale, Mountain View, or San Mateo changes the math, and a lot of Google clients buy specifically near the station. Condos and townhomes in the Google pocket, same as Apple side. Mountain View condos and townhomes are your walkable, near Caltrain entry under single family premium. Point me at the building and I'll price at the building. There is no generic median here as well. Now, NVIDIA, the Santa Clara more broadly, because this is where a lot of my clients are finding the best value to commute ratio in 2026. Start with a scale of what's happening here. NVIDIA's fiscal 2026 revenue was $215.9 billion, up 65% in a single year. That kind of growth shows up in real estate. NVIDIA has spent roughly $836 million on Santa Clara real estate since 2024, including 10-building campus across from its headquarters it bought for $123 million in cash. And it's building a third headquarters building at 2400 Condesa Street. About 324,000 square feet, designed by Gensler. The renderings call it Starbase, the final phase of NVIDIA's San Thomas Creek campus alongside its two signature buildings, Voyager and Endeavor. And here's the twist most buyers haven't connected. Right next to NVIDIA on Northwestern Parkway and Walsh, there is a 6-building Vantage data center campus. And across Santa Clara, there are finished data centers sitting empty, built and wired, waiting on the local utility to deliver enough power to switch them on. When the binding constraint on a city stops being land and starts being electricity, that tells you something real about where demand and competition are heading. Which brings me to Santa Clara advantage almost no generalist agent mentions. If you buy inside the city of Santa Clara, you are not on PG&E. You are on Silicon Valley Power, the city's own municipal utility. And residential rates there have run dramatically lower, on the order of half of PG&E per kilowatt hour. Plus, Santa Clara skips some surcharges PG&E customers pay. If you're charging 2 EVs, and that's not a rounding error, it's a hedge baked permanently into the address. And it's the same utility those data centers are waiting on, which is exactly why it matters. So, where do you actually buy? The obvious answer is Santa Clara itself. Typical value around 1.6 million all in for condos, with single family closer to 2 million and higher. 5 to 10 minutes from NVIDIA for most of the city. Schools are mid-tier, Santa Clara Unified, fine, but not top tier. The standout pocket is Mariposa and Kiefer in 94051. Classic mid-century ranch territory bordered by Lawrence Expressway, El Camino, and St. Thomas. From there, you reach NVIDIA's doors entirely on surface streets. You never touch a freeway. That is real surface street optionality this whole video is about. If you want modern construction over a 1950s ranch, Rivermark in Santa Clara and North San Jose 95134 are early 2000s build. About 12 minutes to NVIDIA via Montague or Tesman. The underrated play is the West San Jose, Willow Glen, and Cambrian. Single family in Willow Glen runs to 2.5 million in 2026. Cambrian sits in similar range, somewhere a touch less. Bigger lots than Santa Clara, more established feel, you pay more, you get more. And for entry buyers, Willow Glen condos run around 800K, far more accessible than 2 million plus houses on the same streets. The contrarian pick is Milpitas. Median values around 1.3 to 1.5 million, among the most affordable here for relatively newer construction, with BART since 2020 and a strong presence of South Asian community. The surprise pick is Campbell, around 1.6 to 2 million, mid-tier schools, but an established feel and real downtown. Now, the honesty part, because it's the same discipline as the rest of the video. Mariposa and Kiefer is genuine surface street pick. Milpitas, Campbell, Willow Glen to NVIDIA are freeway plays. 880, 17, 280, and at peak, those 12 to 15 minute drives can run way longer. Sanity check your specific commute at 7, 8:30, 9 a.m., whatever your time is in the morning before you fall in love. And one I'll rule out for you. People ask me about Alameda Valley for NVIDIA. Beautiful homes, strong schools, but Alameda is typically 25 to 30 minutes from NVIDIA depending on the time of the day. It doesn't pass the 15-minute test we set up. If you can live with a little bit longer commute, it's a wonderful area. But I'm not going to pretend the math says something it doesn't. Here's the conversation that should follow all of this. 3 days a week, your commute matters. The other 4, it doesn't. So, the real question isn't just 15 minutes from work. It's 15 minutes 3 days a week versus 30 minutes 3 days a week, with a bigger home, better schools, and more community. For some of my clients, the answer is obvious. Young kids, every minute counts. Live close. For others, especially buyers without school-age kids yet, it flips. They'll take 30 minutes for a single-family home in Fremont or a townhome in Newark. The 30-minute annoys them 3 days a week. The $500,000 saved matters every day. This is what I call K-shaped divergence in this market. The top-tier zips, Cupertino, Palo Alto, Los Altos, Mountain View, are holding value because the demand for those specific neighborhoods is effectively permanent. and more so in this AI world. The mid-tier, broader Sunnyvale, Santa Clara parts of San Jose is showing more flexibility right now. Per Redfin, Sunnyvale was down about 7% year over year. That's a window for buyers who can be flexible on neighborhood. So let me bring this back to where we started and answer the question I get from most clients early in their careers. What if I switch jobs? I don't want to buy 5 minutes from Apple and then end up at Google or NVIDIA in 2 years. Fair question. Here's the answer. South Sunnyvale 94087 is the geographic pivot point of Silicon Valley. From 94807 in typical conditions, Apple Park is 7 to 12 minutes, Google Mountain View is 10 to 15 minutes, NVIDIA Santa Clara is 10 to 15 minutes as well. You can move across all three of these companies and many more in the vicinity, and your commute still stays within 15 minutes from any of them. That optionality is a big part of why 94087 hold its value the way it does. And yes, you pay for it. Remember, this is the pocket where single family starts around 2.5. You're not buying it because it's cheap. You're buying it because it's one address that hedges your career. If you're at one of these companies early on and worried about flexibility, that's a zip code I'd have to look you at first. If you're a tech worker buying in the Bay Area in 2026, here is what I want you to take from this. The 15-minute question is the right question, but it's only the first one. Schools matter, community matter, surface street optionality matters. The trade-off between commute home size matters. The trade-off between condition of a house and price of a house also matters. And how you read the numbers matters most of all, because the median everyone quotes is usually the wrong one for buying the home you're actually buying. The right answer always depends on your family priorities, not a generic rule from a YouTube video, including this one. If you want to work through your specific situation, your company, your budget, buy now or wait. The link to book a 30-minute call is in the description. No pressure, just a real data-anchored conversation about your search. And if this was useful, subscribe. I post honest number first videos for Bay Area buyers and sellers every week. I'm Sanna. Thanks for watching.